What was the most illegal thing that happened at your school? Principal invited the cheerleaders to a pool party at his house and set up a camera in the bathroom where he told them to change. Oh my God! Please tell me he's in prison now. I tried Googling an article. It's unreal how many articles there are about principals hiding cameras in bathrooms. In middle school, a classmate of mine stole his grandparents' car, picked up his girlfriend, and tried to drive from the SF Bay Area to Colorado to see the X Games. They made it all the way to Colorado too. Funny thing is that the X Games were on a tape delay, so even though they were on TV, they had happened a couple weeks before he tried to drive to Colorado. Kids smoked pot on the school bus. The school bus driver drove to the police station rather than the school and turned the kids in. This chick beat this other chick so hard that she needed facial reconstruction surgery, and then punched out campus police. They tried to tase her, but she kept punching through it. I'll get you, bitch vibes. There was a girl who improvised in the moment and took off her belt and attached her gym padlock to it and used it as an improvised mace flail in a fight. So here's a few of my cherished school memories. A girl got murdered by a stalker. She was 16. Another girl had an ex-boyfriend attempt to kidnap her, and when he failed he pulled a knife and attempted to kill her. She was also 16. The coach got fired for groping girls. He also used to straight up punch kids, sometimes for literally no reason. A teacher got fired for throwing a fucking desk at a kid. He was also a massive alcoholic. A girl got arrested for being part of a car theft ring. She was 15. A teacher quit so he could openly date a student who was 16, legal in my country, though still thought of as disgusting, not okay. Ironically, he was the biology teacher. Bomb threat that turned out to be real, though a bit pitiful. Some kid planted a pipe bomb made from fireworks, which also only had a short fuse. Maybe enough to crack a window if it was sitting on top of it. Also pretty sure a lot of the families came from organized crime, one of which I know was Croatian mafia. I know I'm forgetting a lot. I'll update if they come back to me. Teacher sucked off a student in her office and then got deported for it. Both the school nurse and later the school counselor were pedophiles. Nurse would take advantage of students going to him in elementary school. School counselor, who was also a dude, had a thing for black high school boys in particular. Also was the head football coach on the side. Didn't find out about either until a couple years after I graduated. Nurse got caught, and counselor coach got knocked on by his wife who divorced him. A guy and a girl, both in 9th grade from what I can remember, decided to throw down and have sex with each other in a classroom in front of the entirety of the class while the teacher was out of the room. It was chaos. People yelling, some encouraging them, others objecting. The teacher came back and some of the students actively held the door to prevent her from interrupting. The cops got involved. It was all over the news and the school shut down for like 3 days. Wow, that's insane. Similar happened in my school, except the students weren't arrested and they did it in the boys' bathroom. I walked by the bathroom and there were plenty of kids hovering around while we heard the whole thing. Some were in the bathroom straight up watching the couple. A teacher ran in and asked what's going on and everyone just dispersed. I didn't see it happen, but the couple was just thrown in detention. A kid got beat to death in my school. Locked down for 4 hours. He was life-flighted and died a few days later. The kid who killed him ran away from the school, but they ended up catching him. He only got 20 years probation and is now a successful real estate agent, and everyone kind of forgot about it. Tell you what though, my better half and I just bought a house, and this was my first experience with anything to do with real estate. Beat somebody to death as a kid is pretty much what I would expect from the scum-sucking pack of braying jackal motherfuckers in that industry. It was 1971. A girl I knew whose boyfriend dealt drugs brought a bunch of really strong LSD to school to sell. For the rest of the day we freaks would see each other walking down the hall tripping balls and laugh ourselves silly. There must have been 20 of us. One of the cheerleaders got some and ran away from home. The principal grilled her but couldn't prove anything. Besides multiple teachers and admin being arrested for banging students, we had a dude passing counterfeit money. So much so the Secret Service showed up. And I was hauled off to a windowless building to explain why I had a fake 20. Dude robbed a liquor store and stashed it all in lockers. A kid took a crowbar to each locker and stole all the booze. Also, someone hit someone in the head with a bat, but what can you do? I went to a private school, and right before my senior year started, it was discovered that one of the top administrators had been stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from the school. He was arrested, and we had a new set of principals, or whatever the title was, on the first day of school. Private schools have the craziest shit happening. Teacher SD mine was caught in a relationship with a student. No charges or anything because the school tried to keep it under wraps. Teacher got fired and moved to the student's hometown to wait for her until she graduated. He really thought they had something special, but she was just banging him for an A. Also, my Spanish teacher tried to get me arrested for assault, but backed down pretty quick when I brought up the fact that the assault was me pushing him away from the door he was blocking, refusing to let me out of the classroom. I said, "I think there's a term for holding someone against their will." 2 students murdered 12 students and a teacher. It happened in '99. I went there in '03. Columbine? Wow. Went to college in Colorado. Was in the passenger seat and my roommate casually says, "Oh yeah, that's Columbine." I could feel myself go pale. Probably that time I brought uranium into class. My physics teacher was skeptical until he checked it with a Geiger counter. I was promptly sent home with it, and told never to bring it into school again. It's lucky he didn't freak out too badly, evacuate the school, as some teachers do, e.g. It's so hard to pick just one. We had the gender-neutral bathrooms becoming a brothel, a math teacher dating a junior, the vice principal sleeping with multiple students, a crackhead social studies teacher who punched his boss in the face during a class, and one of the women at the main office get busted as a cocaine dealer. Where the fuck did you go to school? Gotham City? Well, it's about 30 minutes outside one of the cities commonly used as Gotham, so close enough. Catholic high school. A priest on the faculty got a girl pregnant, then paid for an abortion. The bishop paid off the girl's family to keep it quiet. The Pennsylvania grand jury exposed it 20 years later. Kid, not a student, snuck on campus, pulled a gun and tried to shoot a student. Security saw him literally trying to execute the kid, managed to intervene before he fired and beat the ever-living fuck out of him. Several guys bought enough cocaine to turn $100,000 or so into millions. They didn't account for the DoD server the school was on, military school, and apparently keywords flagged somewhere. The FBI, DA, and other 3LAs showed up one day. I grew up in the DoD school system. Even in the 90s, when we didn't use computers as much, we knew better than to communicate anything over them. We wouldn't even use our phones to text about that shit. And no one had that kind of money. Our parents were in the military. Were any of the kids' parents involved in buying? We all got loans senior year at 1% interest as pre-commissioning loans. These guys pulled together. Bomb threats. Lots and lots of bomb threats. Like, seriously, we had days that we evacuated for 3 to 4 bomb threats in a single day. Well, an armed robbery plan that ended with a murder. And it was carried out by the most accomplished athletes at our school at the time. Mid-1990s. The varsity captain, varsity co-captain, and the junior varsity captain robbed the pizza place next to my after-school job and murdered someone I knew that worked there. One of them worked there, and they planned to stage a fake robbery, the other 2 being the robbers and forcing him to open the safe and registers. An off-work employee stopped by randomly while this was happening, and one of the robbers shot him in front of his 2-year-old son with the very real gun. The shooter was in my psychology class, and in my desk pod, the classroom was arranged in groups of 4 desks pushed together. Let's call him S. All week our teacher would make sure we were all doing okay. This happened in the strip mall closest to our high schools, so dozens of juniors and seniors worked in the varying businesses there. S would make these comments like, "Damn, I hope they get him," and, "That's scary, so close to home." One day, maybe that same week even, the police came to the school, and I'll never forget how I felt in this moment. S was called to the office during our class, and he just stood up, gathered his backpack and book, smiled at us all, and said something like, "Well, that's that," or "About time," and "It's been good, y'all," something that hinted at admission. The trial was a whole debacle because there were other students, other football players peripherally involved, like how they got the gun from another varsity football player, not present during the shooting, who worked at a sporting goods store and had stolen it from their boss. All 3 were found guilty, mainly because they used a school logo football bag during the robbery, and then dumped the empty bag in the park between the school and the strip mall, and got varying sentences. I think S was tried as an adult, and might still be in prison. This exact scenario happened at my local high school, but they weren't the Cougars. Top football players robbed a Fazoli's, murdered a guy and got life in prison. School got a threatening letter from a movie studio because students were passing around a pirated copy of The Blind Side on school-issued computers. School wiped every computer and threatened any student caught in the act of piracy with expulsion. A girl broke the Geneva Convention. She mixed ammonia and bleach and brought it to school to fight 2 other girls over a stupid boy. When I was in elementary in the 90s, as we were coming in from recess, the boy standing next to me was shot by a stray bullet. Some kid was shooting birds in his backyard and the bullet hit my friend. If the boys and girls line was reversed, it would have been me. And I was like 2 inches shorter than him. It hit him in the chest. Luckily didn't hit his heart. He lived, but it traumatized me. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.